Hi everyone. So thank you very much for downloading the cheat sheet. My name is James Ledley. I am the founder of Get Playing Guitar and also the Get Playing Ukulele group. Very glad that you've decided to download the cheat sheet, and I'm going to, in this lesson, going to work you through what's going on the cheat sheet. You may be further on than some of the stuff on there, but I'm sure you'll pick up something quite useful. So what I would say to do is make sure you've got your cheat sheet downloaded, and we're going to work our way through some of the stuff in there. It's quite long, but I wanted to make sure everybody had a really good foundation to start guitar. So I'm just going to share the screen, and we're going to have a quick run through it, and then give me 2 seconds. So okay, so there's your cheat sheet. So basically it's more like a sort of a workbook than anything else. So what's really happening in this is really to give you a solid foundation to get started on guitar. You may have covered some of this stuff, as I say, some of it you may not have covered. The idea of this is to get from the very foundation. We've got our string names: E, A, D, G, B, and E. E, A, D, G, B, and E. Make sure you get that down at the start. Everything later on hangs on knowing those strings, and then when you start learning the fretboard, that's going to be really important. Okay, so what we're going to do then is start with a bit of melody. If you haven't played tab before, guitar tab, basically it's a system of strings and frets, really numbers on lines is really what it is. Instead of having to read standard music notation, we've got the strings represented. So on this sheet, represented by the red line here for string 6 and string 1 down here, and the numbers are where you place your fingers. There's a certain order for placing the fingers on this. If you can do it at the start, great, but I'll play it first and you'll see what I mean. So I would go 1, open, 2, 5, 3, open, 1, and then 4, 4, 4, 5. And if you're doing that ending section, 4, 4, 4, 5, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5. So the basic rule is here, it's first finger for most of those notes, third finger for here. And you come to the 4s and the 5s first, and then so you'll notice that the fret number and the note that's furthest up the fretboard, I'm using third finger. It's not always easy to do that at the start, but if you can't, try and do that. Try and at least use your first and second finger. If you've been playing a while, you've maybe come across that. If not, you want to get that good habit set from the start. Okay, great tune to start with, just for playing a simple melody. Okay, so there's a lot of information on here, but basically in this video, it's really to help you, to guide you along if you're working your way through this. So scales, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of scales. There are some scales here. The reason I put these ones in is because they're quite important to get down if you want to play a riffs and you want to get finger dexterity going as well. Now, scales are important in music. Melodies come from scales, and your chords have scales right underneath the chords as well. So if I play a C scale, the C chord is sitting right there. You can actually see the shape of it. So I've only put a few scales in this, and I would class these as some of the essential scales that you need at the start when you're learning. Great for your fingers as well. So one thing I would say is when you're working through the E pentatonic, now pentatonic just stands for, it's a Greek word for 5. It just means a 5-note scale. So it's a full scale stripped back to about 5 notes. So on this pentatonic minor, we've got 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 2, 0, 2. Most people will play it like that, which is fine, but I would recommend it as soon as you can. Try and get your third and second finger to do the notes. So I'll put the A pentatonic minor in because it's exactly the same shape as E pentatonic minor, only it's on the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. Again, I'm using the 3rd finger in the 2nd. And then we've got the C major scale. Now you notice that the 1 down here, I'm actually using first finger. 3rd, open, 2nd, 3rd, open, 2nd, open, 1st. Now I've only put the scales on going forwards, which is going from thick strings to thin, but try and work on them from the thick strings to the thin and back again. as much as you can. Okay, so then we've got some chords. So chords are the cornerstone of rhythm. Without chords, we couldn't really strum the guitar. So chords are basically, just a quick run through if you haven't read a chord box before. The top up here, we'll take an easy one, say this easy G. Right, so we've got the top of the guitar here, string 6. So your guitar is like that. String 6 is here, and string 1 is here. So we're putting our third finger on string 1 fret 3. And then the X's are the strings you don't hit, and the zeros or the O's are the ones you can hit. And the reason for not hitting those is it's going to sound really rough if we went down through the whole lot. Now, what I would suggest is when you're working through these chords, start with easy G. If you're starting and you've never played before, start from easy G and then go to easy C and try and keep that finger really curled over. So you want to keep your fingers really curled and holding down the notes as you go through. Now, getting up onto the thick strings, some of my students find that quite tricky sometimes, so getting up onto those strings can be quite difficult. But take your time and work your fingers up. You could even take it one note at a time until you get up there. It's all about the grip. Make sure this part of your hand curls in around the back and get a good tight grip, and we're curling the fingers over. And then eventually we'll be on to do the D and the E minor as well. But on this cheat sheet, we've kept the chords really, really basic. Obviously, you would build on these and C would become that, but you have to start off with something. So we're starting off with that easy C. Okay, rhythm. So what we're going to do here is put some of these chords together with a basic rhythm. So as I mentioned, there are songs like Stand By Me or Perfect Ed Sheeran, right? So they're great beginner songs because you've got basically Stand By Me, 4 chords, G, E minor, C and D, but you don't have to play, wait till you can get full chords to start. The chords we had there were G6. So if we do this in an easy to play away, you could even bring that easy D back to a mini sort of D power chord. So you could actually have G6, 1, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and easy D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if you want to do it one finger, string 3, fret 2. So just to show you what I'm doing with that D quickly, we could take that D, take that note away, and put one finger on string 3 and just hit those 2. So once you've downloaded the cheat sheet, you're working through all this stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me a question. Send me a message. There's some details at the back or how you can get in touch. If you're unsure or you're thinking, right, this is the kind of thing I want to start doing and want to start learning, feel free to get in touch and I'll give you some tips and we can take it from there. So I'm not going to get into really in deep in going through these songs, but here's some suggestions. So what I've got here at the end of the sheet to give you something, to give you an idea of what it's going to be like to be playing songs and how I teach the songs. I'm talking about using the Beatles, Eleanor Rigby and Benny King, Stand By Me. I'm not going into the Ed Sheeran one because it's a different timing. So we're trying to keep things straightforward. So we're going to have a quick look at Eleanor Rigby. Now, I'm sure you know this song. If you don't, it's a great beginner song and it's a great tune to start with because the chords aren't difficult. And as I said earlier, you don't have to have full C, which causes some problems. You can have a mini C. You can even play it with a one finger C. I added in this bit myself to keep things really straightforward. These are just one finger chords, so don't worry about the fancy names here. As long as you can play these, that's all that matters. Just keep an eye on the strings, right? Or sorry, the strings we're missing. The X's are the ones we're not playing. We're hitting 4 strings for each of these. So this song's quite a straightforward structure. It basically is built around pretty much 2 chords, E minor and C. Now the rhythm in this, if you haven't looked at rhythm before, what's going on here is we've got half notes, 1 and 2 and, or sorry, quavers, 1 and 2 and 3 and half beats, I should say. And these are crotchets worth 1 beat. So to show you what that means, a crotchet would be on E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4. But those quavers grouped into sets of 2, 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So what we're doing is in the space where my arm has to come up and strum again. We're filling that in with an extra strum. And they're all close together. If you think of quavers as being closer together than crotchets have a slight gap between them, then that'll help you remember them. I'm just going to move over here so I'm more centered in the picture. Right. So what we're doing here then is, these are the two rhythms, the only two rhythms you need. So what we're going to do on the C, we're going to look at the mini C and the E minor 1, because they're the easiest two chords of the whole lot on that row. Now mini C is just string 2 fret 1, string 4 fret 2. We're going to strum 4 strings. Now the rhythm in this is just downs and ups. So when you're singing look at all the lonely people. So you're doing 2 sets of down, up, 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 down, up. Then we're going to go to the easy E minor, the one everybody learns at the start, finger 1 and 2. Now we can move back down. You see the way we've got an anchor finger here, so we're swinging around that finger. Remember, keep an eye on my elbow. See the elbow? C, E minor is an out chord. Move your elbow out slightly. C, bring it in. So we've got E minor. And that basically makes up the verses pretty much. So this is a really stripped back, easy to learn version of it. Looks really complicated there, but E minor 7 / D, as I say, it's just these 3 fingered chords. So you've got string 2 fret 3. All right, so we've got the 3rd finger. If you can't do that and you're starting off from scratch, just use your 1st finger. Then move it down 1, and move it down 1 again. And then at the end, you just be off, which is pretty easy. So we're going to do it, run through these. I'd prefer if you're getting to, after that chord, you go into E minor because it sounds better. But you can do an off. That actually is a mini E minor chord. So we go, where do they all come from? Nice straightforward 1, 2, 3, 4. Strumming 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's basically it. 2 sections. Songs don't have to be complicated. In fact, when you're starting off on guitar, keep things really, really straightforward. Remember what I was saying, you don't have to learn full chords to start tunes. You can play songs with an easy G, an E minor, a mini C, and even a 1-fingered D. It's still music, and it's still, you're playing and you'll be moving forward, and it'll motivate you to play more. And that's what my focus is in my lessons with my students. So a few tips there. You can have a reread through that where I'm explaining all that. You're probably already in the group. If you're not, what I would say is definitely join the Get Playing Guitar group, because everything's going on in there. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok, and I'm constantly putting lessons and tips and advice on there pretty much every day or every other day. So you'll grab some great ideas and help there as well. Okay, so now we're going to get a quick run through Stand By Me. Right, so we're keeping this straightforward. You notice I'm using the same chords. So here we go. The idea was the chords that you're learning earlier on in the cheat sheet, we're going to use them now in a song. You don't even have to use G6 for this. You could use easy G, E minor, easy C, and the easy D. Okay, so we've got what we're going to for this purpose now. One thing I would say is I put this on the sheet as well because it's good to do some melody playing. It's not always about chords. Let me just have a quick flick through. Yeah, that's just the song structure, right? So this is basically what the main riff is. So basically that's working you through the main riff of the song. Great to play as well. Fingers for this. If you're playing this, try and get that 3rd finger in. 3rd fret stretch in guitar is really important. If you find that difficult to start, which I'm assuming you probably will if you're only starting guitar, try and at least use your 1st and your 2nd finger. But that stretching idea here where you've got 1, 2, 3 is really, really important, because that's totally movable up and down the neck, and that'll give you a create good habits. And the very, very important, you don't want to get into any bad habits from the very start. So I'd prefer that you didn't, if possible. Anyway, these are the chords we're going to use. So I'm going to go down straight into the rhythm, keeping this really straightforward. Now, the rhythm to the song is a bit more complicated than what we're doing here, but it's about chord connection, chord transition. We're trying to get your chords to start coming together. So I've got a full G on there, but we're going to use the G6. Now, all I've done on here is strum once, counting 4 beats. So what you're seeing here in the brackets are the beats that are being counted, but not played. So this down strum only happens on beat 1. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, then we've got the C, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the D. Now we're not doing a full D. A full D is quite tricky. If you want, you can do the 1-finger D, or you can do that one. 2, 3, 4. Now you'll notice that the G goes for 2 times. E minor's for 2 times, C 1 time, and D, if you can get that D going, great. You could even do it that way, 1st finger and 2nd finger. D is 1 time as well. Now another way to play it, if you prefer to get a higher chord sound, I was saying earlier about mini chords, easy G, 2, 3, 4, 1 finger, E minor, easy C, easy D. So even on a basic level, you've got the structure of the song. You can play along. Once we add a bit of rhythm into that, it's going to sound far more like the tune, but we're only talking about basic chord transitions here. If you do want to add some rhythm, we could add in 4 downs even. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, mini C again, 3, 4, mini D, 1, 2, or easy D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can see I'm changing quite quickly. That causes some problems at the start, and it's totally normal, and don't get frustrated if you can't change the chords as quickly as that. If you can't slow the whole thing right down, what I would say, even at this very early stage, if you're only starting guitar, get a metronome, which will tap out the beat, and start playing to that. Rhythm and timing are everything in music. I always drill that into my students. You need to have really good rhythm and timing. So I'm really glad if you've stuck with me this far on the video. I'm really glad that you've worked your way through the cheat sheet. I'm taking it that you're already in the group. If you're not, if you're in the group as well, you'll probably get some emails from me every week. Usually an email goes out on a Sunday, early hours of Monday morning, with tips and advice and letting you know what's happening and things are going on. New lessons that are on YouTube, all this kind of thing. If you follow me on YouTube, there's links down here at the bottom. You'll be able to keep up with everything that's going on. Okay, so there's a song with extra downs in it here. So I was doing 4 downs a minute ago. Here we are with down on beat 1, down on beat 3. Okay, so a few tips here about practice. I'll let you read through that, but basically make some time for practice. Very, very important. Everybody says I've no time to practice, but generally everybody can find 10, 15 minutes a day, even if you have to make a timetable around your life. I know we have a busy life too, and teaching all the time and other things on. So it's a case of trying to just get some time, devote some time. Try and not do it and leave it all I'm going to do it all on Sunday afternoon. That doesn't work. Guitar has to be consistent. 10, 15 minutes a day of the right kind of practice is great. If you're in the group, you might have come across the practice pyramid. If you haven't got a copy of that, let me know. Make a comment in the group, send me a message, and I can send you that through, and it will give you a daily practice routine that a lot of people are using. My students are using it too, and it's really helping with their progress because it gives you something to work towards. You don't have to guess anymore. You just go, all right, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Okay, so yeah, you'll probably come across as well the Beginner's Accelerator program. If you want to know anything about that, let me know. I know you're only into the group, but there's information in the group on that. Students are in there now making fantastic progress. It's full coaching program that'll really help you with your playing. So I've really enjoyed making this video, and I hope you enjoy working through the cheat sheet. And I'm really glad, if you're in the group, to have you in the group. There's some links to YouTube. Definitely check that out. Some lessons on there too. Loads of stuff. You can contact me directly here, and that's the website. Although the website's quite old, so everything these days that's happening is happening on TikTok, Instagram, the group, and YouTube. And you can download the free guide on how to the 3-step method on how to really get moving forward and playing the songs you love. So I'd really recommend you to get that as well. It's all free, so it's really all geared towards helping you get playing your favorite music. And as I say, I really enjoyed making this video. Welcome to the group. Have fun playing through this cheat sheet, and I'll see you hopefully in the group very soon. Okay, bye.